Hillary Clinton has finally lost it. It may be because of the Epstein revelations or a case of advanced Trump derangement syndrome, or just the fact that the vast majority of the country hates her. Either way, Crooked Hillary is babbling out incoherent drivel like never before. Hey, gang, it's me, Dr. Steve, your Patriot Professor, here to help you think better so you can feel better in these crazy and turbulent times. So if you haven't already done so, you know what to do. Make sure to smack that bell and subscribe button. Before we analyze Hillary's padded room rant, I want to give you all a little update on what's been happening here behind the scenes in this channel. As many of you know, Big Tech has stepped in and they've completely demonetized us. No warning, nothing, which is obviously a major blow to our ability to stay in communication with each other each and every day. And you must want to keep that communication going because thousands of you have stepped in and helped blunt that blow by joining our Insiders Club over the last few weeks. Now, we are now upwards of over 5,000 members who have joined to stick it to Big Tech and let them know that we refuse to lose contact with one another. And we're not alone. We're not in some digital solitary confinement. We are a movement, an army of like-minded patriots who refuse to be silenced by the international woke police. And so a huge thank you to each and every one of you who've joined our Insiders Club over the last few weeks. And for those of you who have yet to join and are so inclined, just click on that link below and link up with thousands of patriots just like you who are taking back our country each and every week. But most especially, we're doing it together. A video of Hillary Clinton is currently making waves on social media, even though it's actually several months old. But it's going viral now precisely because of how absurdly delirious Hillary appears to be.
Hello, Indivisibles. I'm here to highlight something that is keeping me up at night. And I know this group really understands what I'm about to say. I know we're all focused on the 2022 midterm elections, and they are incredibly important. But we also have to look ahead, because you know what? Our opponents certainly are. Right-wing extremists already have a plan to literally steal the next presidential election. And they're not making a secret of it. The right-wing controlled Supreme Court may be poised to rule on giving state legislatures, yes, you heard me that correctly, state legislatures the power to overturn presidential elections. Just think, if that happens, the 2024 presidential election could be decided not by the popular vote or even by the anachronistic Electoral College, but by state legislatures, many of them Republican-controlled. But there's also good news in the face of this very real threat to democracy. Indivisible has launched Crush the Coup to make sure we're ready to defend democracy in 2024. They've put together a list of critical races in 6 key states and how you can get involved. Will you support Crush the Coup by donating to Indivisible and state legislature candidates? Each of these races is highly competitive, and your dollars could very well decide the winners and the winner of the next presidential election. This could not be more important or more urgent.
Yes, you heard me that. Did you catch that?
Yes, you heard me that.
Yes, you heard me that. I think we need that as a bumper sticker. You go, girl. Yes, you heard me that. Now, we've often talked about a common strategy that the woke left uses over and over again, and it's a strategy known as projection, accusing others of committing the very crimes that you yourself commit. As you just saw there, woke leftists constantly project onto Trump and his supporters the very inadequacies and pathologies that everyone else in the universe sees with Biden and with them. For the woke leftists over at MSNBC, for example, Trump is the one evidencing dementia, not Biden. I mean, they're literally coming out and saying that. It's Trump who's the one who gets confused on stage, not Biden. No, No, Biden's great. Trump's the one who keeps getting lost mid-sentence. Not Biden. Biden's great. I mean, just take a listen.
The beer brewed here, it is used to make the brew beer in this refinery. Oh, Earth Rider, thanks for the Great Lake.
So, if you can believe it, apologists for the regime like those at MSNBC consistently try to project onto Trump Biden's own sins, as it were. Now, interestingly, some consider projection a kind of Freudian effort, an almost atheist version of confession or penance. In other words, these woke leftists know that what they believe and what they are doing is evil and wrong, and it needs to get punished and purged. But because they're such narcissists, because they're so full of themselves, they can't allow themselves to be the ones who are punished. And so they look for some kind of scapegoat to impute their sins to and have that scapegoat punished. Their narcissism dictates that that punishment, by definition, has to involve someone else other than them. And so this is where projection comes in. When they project, like exactly what Hillary is doing there. I mean, think about it. Hillary openly tried to deliberately interfere in the democratic integrity of the 2016 election by knowingly pushing false Russian collusion allegations against Trump that was then used by the FBI as a pretense to spy on him and undermine both his campaign and his presidency. In other words, she deliberately tried to steal the election. And what is she doing in that video? She is in effect admitting that such an act is indeed evil. She's admitting that stealing an election is wrong and worthy of being punished. But because she's so narcissistic, because she's so malignantly narcissistic, that purging punishment cannot involve her. So what you just heard there was Hillary literally projecting onto others her own sins. And note, who is she imputing those sins to? Right-wing extremists, of course, right? Right-wing extremists, particularly those on the Supreme Court. Yes, that's right. The very right-wing extremists who just ruled that Joe Biden can cut the razor wire barriers set up by Texas National Guard forces and reopen the southern border. Yeah, those right-wing extremists. That's right. Again, same thing here, gang. Who are the real extremists? Who are the real political and cultural radicals? They're obviously not on the right. They're on the left. Hence her need to project. But you'll notice something else that Hillary did there that is seriously backfiring on her and her fellow leftists. By excoriating the Supreme Court, by denigrating the court with her right-wing accusations, extremist accusations, she's actually delegitimizing the very public institution she needs to impose her wokeness on the rest of us. Now, this is a hugely important dynamic that's happening today. It's a dynamic known as delegitimation. It's the process whereby public institutions lose their confidence and trust among the vast majority of the population. This is something that tends to characterize those of us more on the populist right, those of us who raised concerns about the integrity of the 2020 election. That was delegitimation. Or concerns about the objectivity of the legacy media that bent over backwards to cover up the Hunter Biden laptop. Or those of us who resisted big tech oligarchs and corporate CEOs trying to impose wokeness on the rest of us. Those of us who resisted Fauci and the vaccine mandates. Or the mama bears who show up at school board meetings demanding their resignations, and on and on and on. These are all indicators of what scholars call delegitimation, the loss of trust and confidence in our public institutions and our public officials. Notice what Hillary Clinton just did there. In calling out the Supreme Court, in questioning the integrity of the 2024 election, Hillary just inadvertently engaged in her own form of delegitimation. Now, why is that so patently ridiculous on the part of Hillary? It's precisely because of all the antics that she's been engaged in over the years, all the seedy stunts she's pulled that deliberately tried to undermine the integrity of our public institutions. She did all of that so as to obtain power over those institutions. Or better, she engages in illicit antics precisely to wield the power of our public institutions. But what did she just do in that public service announcement? I mean, what did she just do? Hillary, without seeming to even remotely reflect on what she was doing, Hillary inadvertently undermined the trust and integrity of the very public institutions she needs in order to obtain power. What you just saw her do there is undermine the very institutions she needs for her and her woke ilk to obtain power. She's literally pulling the rug out from under her feet. But this is exactly what projection inevitably does. If you're constantly about the business of secretly undermining the integrity of our public institutions, as Hillary Clinton has always been, then you can't publicly project those sins onto others without simultaneously blowing apart the integrity of the very institutions that provide you your power. She's officially lost it. Her PSAs are now undermining her ability to basically do anything other than contribute to our nation's moral rot. And boy, does she know how to do that.